Welcome back to Running the Riffs coverage of the NACL OQs for the spring. And I'm Anmec. This is DBZ Freak 2. We saw ABK go through game one. They beat the PMG streamer team, and now they have a second game against the Carolina Reapers. DBZ, how you feeling about this game too?
So I got a little bit of a preview of Carolina Reapers yesterday. They seem to be a pretty aggressive team, I will say. So kind of expecting a little bit of the same thing. We'll have to wait and see what happens with draft. We know what ABK can do. They have really good team fighting, and they are like to play through their advantages. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing in this game. Now the draft will depend on if I still keep that feeling. Looks like ABK have kind of gone for the same thing. Ash Varus, an absurd duo in the bot lane. Olaf in the top lane against the Cassante. Carolina Reapers looks like they kind of drafted for the 40-minute mark of the game as we see a Sivir, which I don't think we've seen too much of that champion this year. The Orianna I do like against the Syndra. I don't know if that's Cassante. Wait a minute, is that Camille support? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's Camille support, Cassante top lane into ABK's Olaf. And it is going to be up against the Ashe Forest bot lane. So it's going to be up to this Camille to actually make plays happen. But with the Sivir, not a whole lot of early game damage coming out of that ADC. So definitely going to be interesting to see. It feels like a mismatch of a duo, but maybe Carolina Reapers will surprise us. And then looking at the rest of the draft, pretty standard. I think the Ivern's a spicy pick so that Sivir can get shielded up, can get buffed up, and will be doing a lot of damage in these fights later on. But of course, gotta make it to that end stage of the game. So it's really up to Carolina Reapers to kind of stall it out, make sure that they have the ability to actually contest these objectives and not get too far behind in the early game.
I agree 100%. I think we'll go ahead and get into game at this very moment. Go ahead and start it off. We have Carolina Reapers on the blue side, ABK on the red side. Got some pings coming out here at the start of the game. I'm imagining we'll probably get a classic 5-point stance because I do not believe, having this be a Camille support can be very, very interesting. I'm not entirely sure what to expect out of Jimmy Coy in this instance for this pick. I'm excited for it, but I hope it doesn't kind of just like it end up being a little bit of a run it scenario, which would be terribly unlucky. But we got a classic 5-ish point stance as Camille makes her way into the bottom lane. Everyone else knows where everyone else is. No trade of vision happening between these junglers, and kind of figured not too terribly good of a level 1 on it's actually very good for ABK with the slows on the Ashe. That makes it good, but other than that, not surprising that we don't get any kind of like cheeky level 1 plays this time.
Yeah, it definitely seems like both teams respecting that if you go for an invade and there's a stacked bush, that's probably not going to work out in your favor. Hope One and Sinner on that Ashe Forest bot lane are going to be very strong in the early game, and they're going to be looking to get that lane pressure that they got, similar to game 1 that we saw earlier tonight, where they just kind of push you in, force plays around the fact that they have this wave control on the dragon, and more than happy for Strova to take those early void grubs. They are confident that they can win the game out in the end. You see already Riversided and Limerence are going for a little bit of early trades for the first minion wave. And Riverside kind of proving that he was a very impactful mid laner in the last game. These NACL ults were on point, and so I'm really excited to see how he plays around with the control mage on this Syndra and whether he can make it happen again.
Definitely 100% agree. I'm gonna kind of briefly comment on the runes Actually, I might not get time to.
Yeah, a little bit of trading, but nothing crazy. Jimmy Coy actually started W on the Camille, recognizing that he can't really all in with Camille E level 1. So just gonna try to sustain up, get some W procs so that he can keep his health bar high, so that when it is time to go for the all in, he has enough HP to do so.
Absolutely. Now, just gonna briefly touch back on the runes. We have a first strike on a Syndra and comment on Orianna, which are very standard picks. I actually want to talk more about the Varus runes, because in this instance, with him having lethal tempo, this is going to be Hope 1 on the on-hit Varus build and not the lethality that we typically see. So looking forward to seeing how much damage that Hope will do at the end of this game, especially against Bob Timer, who will be going full tank. Olaf getting some pretty decent trading up here in the lead in CS. So ship it in. Oh, actually, hold on. We might have a dive here.
Yeah, I mean, Steel City Warriors been waiting around for a while. Wants to go for the dive onto Romy and will get the first blood. Flashes away, heal popped as well. Ignite and flash from Jimmy Coy will get a 1-for-1. So really good trade for the side of the Carolina Reapers. Jimmy Coy actually looking for more. Hope One has to flash out of the turret aggro. Wants to go for more, and they are going to be able to get it. Hope One and Sinner able to juggle the aggro just in time to get the kills. Jimmy Coy will go down, so it's a 2-for-1 trade. But meanwhile, Riverside is getting ganked by Strova, trying to get the kill onto Limerence, but it is going to be the Iron Shield coming out. Won't be enough damage, and Limerence will get that kill. So across the map, 2-for-2. And I want to point out as well, Steel City Warrior was waiting so long to make that bot lane gank happen. He showed on the ward early. He did steal away Strova's Krugs, but Strova meanwhile was able to take almost his entire top side. Gonna go for the Krugs right now, and so Steel City Warrior is gonna be very far behind his jungle opponent.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, though, it is like a 300 gold lead for the side of ABK. They're off to a good start. They got that kill onto the Varus, which I think is huge, especially considering that Varus is going to need to be that damage insurance for later in the game. So he's going to have to play this out right. So last time we saw him have a lead, he played it very, very well. So Hope is potentially able to do the same thing. Did get that Vam Scepter in and that first back. We have a little bit of top lane noodling at the moment. CS is even. This is definitely, I think, a closer matchup. I've seen it go Olaf's way, and I've seen it go Kasante's way. So it's kind of one of those weird skill but not skill based matchups, if that makes a lot of sense. So it's something to look forward to later into to this game. Both bot lanes, not too much going on. 14 CS lead for Hope. That's kind of expected because it is a double 80 carry bot lane. Your Camille can't exactly walk up. Like Ash is even zoning her off the wave. So oh wait, hold up, they're actually going in.
Sinner gonna go for a little bit of a trade, going very aggressive, pushing Romy and Jimmy Coy off of even EXP from these minions, and Jimmy Coy is going to look for a little bit of trade back just so that Sinner can't be doing this completely for free. But it is a level 4 bot lane versus level 2 Camille. So gotta be a little scared there. You can already see that Strova has positioned around this bot side, so no dives can happen from Steel City Warrior once again. Riverside and Limerence, you know, going for cheeky little trades in the mid lane. Riverside does have that Tear of the Goddess as well, so recognizes that he's gonna just have to scale up, you know, bide his time so that he can be pumping out even more damage and have a little bit more survivability with the Seraph shield later in the game. And Dragon has been started by ABK, so they are already stacking up those objectives.
Absolutely. 5 minutes in the game, expecting this to see. Now we should get a trade of the Void Grips on the other side, unless Strova is not able to start it in time. Looks like he's doing it right now at this moment, so I do think it's going to be close. Steel City Warrior, oh, everybody's going to the Raptors. Okay, so there should be Void Grubs going over. He was spotted on the... Oh, I take it back. He's spotted now, so hold that thought. It could be getting spicy on the top side as we come back bot lane. Just your classic Camille tries to W for a little bit of poke damage. You can't really go in on it. Never mind, as I say that.
Yeah, Jimmy Coy is going to try to go in, and he is actually going to force the Ghost away from Hope One. A little worried about the follow-up from Romy. Romy actually did pop his Ghost as well, so both ADCs using up one of their summoner spells. Definitely respecting the fact that this Camille Sivir does have enough damage to go for a big engage. And we, as you mentioned, you know, Strova was able to get one grub before getting pushed off by Riverside and Shippuden, who could kind of threaten that collapse. And so a little bit of trade back, but definitely not as good as a full-on Cloud Dragon. So Ocean Dragon's gonna be the next one. And you do see that, okay, mid lane, Limerence is actually looking for the solo kill on Riverside, forcing the flash away. One more auto will do it! Solo kill for Limerence, and Riverside down a second time.
Okay, so putting this Syndra behind is very good for the side of Carolina Reapers. I mean, you know, Riverside is going to feel that for over the course of this game. He is going to be behind. This is a 2-0 Orianna, the other Ana champion in the game. Very, very strong champion, especially when she is ahead, as Ori is going to be very, very strong. Probably going, oh, just actually finish the boots. I take it back. Oh, just as I said that, she sold them.
Jimmy Coy actually looking for the re-engage onto Sinner. Ignite is popped, but the Ashe is still surviving for a little bit longer. Hope One will get the kill, and Sinner actually will survive. Hope One is going to go down thanks to the gank from Strova. Romy will pick up that kill, but it is a 1-for-1 trade. Sinner able to just kind of walk it out, even though Ignite was ticking, and so lots of damage coming out. And now Steel City Warrior looking onto Romy. The Silver's flash is about to be up, but it's not quite there yet. And Romy is going to try to just spell shield away. Sinner with the W over the wall will not catch the Ashe and will be able to walk it out, even though there is no flash available. So Steel City Warrior trying to make an extension of the play happen, not quite able to do so. Meanwhile, Jimmy Koi is on a ward. Riverside knows what's up. Level 7 on the Syndra, but not able to actually go for the burst damage. Jimmy Koi is getting engaged on now. Limerence does not have the shockwave quite yet, so that play will end. But you can see how much pressure this Camille support's putting out and how much damage in the early game she can do to kind of threaten these kills.
Yeah, I kind of wondering how much damage she's going to do more over the course of this game. Did finish the steel caps a bit ago. I'm kind of thinking and wondering if she's going to end up still building damage, even though this is a support, quote-unquote, Camille. A friend of mine actually did a build like this once upon a time. He did play a Camille support, did build Triforce, so kind of wondering if that's going to be the same type of deal. I doubt it. But it's one of those things, like, we just kind of have to wait for that moment. But Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside getting ganked once again. The shockwave will come out, will secure the kill. It is the Syndra just getting bullied. But speaking of bullying, Jimmy Koi gonna fall once again. Romy under pressure. Sinner looking for the dive, actually. Double kill will go over to the Varus. So trades happen around the map. Strova getting a little greedy, getting flashed on by Steel City Warrior. Flash comes out, Oriana shield as well. The Ivory Q will go wide, and Steel City Warrior will punish the extra aggression. The shield runs out just in time onto Strova, and all of that greediness will be punished by ABK's jungler. Strova trying to bite off more than he can chew.
Yeah, he flashed out. I thought he was free out, but I think Oriana maybe called that they could go back in for it, but just not expecting that amount of damage from Steel Warrior, who I think will finish I think he just finished his item off the Sundered Sky, I believe. No, okay, so we'll finish about half of it, so my apologies on that one. I'm just a really weird call to kind of go back in there, and that ends up giving 2 free kills over to the Win Zhao, as I call him. And every game I notice there is Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao usually ends up winning. So if this will be the Steel City Win Zhao for the open qualifiers, and maybe take this champion off, because this dude is kind of cracked at him. I'm not gonna lie. Has had very number of good plays this game so far, despite being 2-1. It's just Xin Zhao. I mean, just once you're in, and that's the kind of the style that they love to play. But as we kind of simmer it back down, 10 minutes in the game, I'm noticing ABK likes to keep their games close, as the score is about 3,000 gold, only 1 kill ahead. I do not believe any tower plates have fallen as of this moment. Actually, bot lane has 2 tower plates. I take it back. Bot lane has taken 2. Bob Timer was not in range for the local gold for the turret plate, so that's kind of unlucky. I do fully believe this Ashe and Varus will just keep shoving their advantage in this lane, getting more plates. They should have a prio 2 for this next Ocean Drake on the map. Pretty decent scatter there, and they should just secure this for free.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that the bot lane prio is enough for Steel City Warrior and the bot lane of ABK to just walk in, take this objective, nice, quick, and dirty. Strova is actually going for the grubs in the top lane, has Bob Timer as well to help secure that objective, and mid lane prio. Limerence 3-0-0, 4 stacks of Dark Seal. It means that Riverside is just going to try to have to survive this laning phase now. All of those ganks by the Ivern were so impactful, and the solo kill as well, of course, to make this Oriana is super strong, especially in the mid game. The tier is stacked at 128. It is going to be very impactful in these fights, and very safe thanks to the Seraph shield. Meanwhile, Jimmy Koi engaging on the Steel City Warrior. I'm not sure if this is what you want. The Camille is going to get rooted up by the Varus ult, locked down, and it is going to be Steel City Warrior popping the ult to try to stay alive. It is actually going to be the shockwave on Oriana. Steel City Warrior is able to avoid some of that damage thanks to the Xin Zhao ult. Bob Timer TPing in, and it's going to be the shutdown onto the Xin Zhao. So great TP from him. Strova now maybe getting caught out. Sinner trying to get enough damage with Riverside, but this Syndra is so weak, not quite able to do the burst damage that he needs to do. Sinner is now the target from Bob Timer. Slow comes out, but the Scuttle Crab will be enough. No, Bob Timer and Limerence will secure that kill. So big trades coming out around the map, and a big impactful TP from the Cassante.
Yeah, absolutely. Just expected that to happen the second I saw the TP, and this will leave Olaf alone in the top lane, who I did believe get 2 plates, and we'll get a third one. Okay, cool. So we'll get a third plate. Now, on the flip side, before that play had happened, actually Camille's walking up here. Before I get into that, we'll stop this push completely. I think Shippuden probably would have got damn near the whole tower if left to his vices up here. But anyways, before that whole little shindig of the fight happened on the other side of Reapers, they did end up getting the 3 Void Grubs over them. So that does sure 4 is not bad, but you'd rather have that 5, so neither team getting that extra bonus. We will be stopped here in the mid lane. We actually have a lot of people mid sides. This could get pretty spicy here as we're dropping just wards down from Jimmy Coy, but that will get swept out. Feeling a little spicy about how this game is going. I'm expecting now a lot more action compared to the first one we had earlier, because we're already 7-7. By this point, I believe it was like 4-2 in the last game,
something like that.
So I think we're upping the pace in this game. Seems to be taking a little more risky plays now at this point, and Varus is 4-1, so they just need to keep that advantage going for Hope to take over this game later. Looks like we have a lane swap coming in as well. 30 seconds until the tower plates do fall. Rift Herald will be spawning in about a minute's time from now. So lots of mid lane pressure I'm expecting out of both of these teams to prioritize that Rift Herald. Last game we saw ABK get it. I'm kind of curious to see who'd get it again, as another scatter will happen. 4 levels up, probably could win this 1v1.
Yeah, Riversided and Jimmy Coy are going at it. The actual will land onto Strova into the Varus ultimate as well. Strova trying to flash away, but Hope One is going to flash follow as well on a killing spree now. Will easily pick up that frag. And this Varus 5-1 now, a absolute menace that side of Carolina Reapers will have to deal with eventually. Bob Timer and Shippuden going blow for blow in the top lane. Shippuden coming out on top. This Olaf is scaling up very nicely into the mid game. Meanwhile, Riversided might be getting dove by Jimmy Coy and Limerence, trying to get all the minions out. Will do so. Yeah, no wave available. Jimmy Coy will just have to stop that play from happening. Really well played from Riverside to take away that last minion with the W, as Rift Herald is taken by Steel City Warrior on the top side of the map.
So I would assume they either save it for the next Drake, or they drop it topside and kind of let Olaf do whatever he wants up there. Does have the bounty right now at the moment. Actually should just take this mid lane or top lane tower up there. Nope, actually we'll go for the Riza instead. Okay, not knowing where the Kazante is. Actually, I respect that play. Never mind, cancels the back. So all right, what do I know? Just I guess just take the tower and then that'll be it, huh?
Yeah, it's not gonna go down. Should be in OP4 because he kind of stalled that a little bit and he hesitated on whether Kazante and his team were around to punish his greediness. Isn't able to get that tower in the top lane, but it is one hit away. I'm sure it will fall eventually. I wanted to point out, because you mentioned there's a lot more aggression in this game, that it feels like ABK have kind of found their mojo. They had that Lucian Melia with the Xin Zhao last game, but there really wasn't a whole lot of dives happening in the early game. They were 0-2, didn't want to force anything that would end their streak and their run in the open qualifiers. Now they won their last game. They're playing with a lot more confidence. I really like to see it, because now we get to see their aggression. They're playing their comp to a T, making sure their bot lane gets ahead, which is seemingly their strongest 2 members, and because they have all these early game champions, they're using them to the full potential that they have, and I really am appreciating it. Limerence, meanwhile, is going to get Syndra ulted, but it does have Strova here. Herald is mid lane now. Sinner and Hope One are here with Steel City Warrior. They are gonna just try to get down this objective, and it will fall. First mid tower going down. The Olaf actually has also rotated for this third dragon, and it is Infernal, so very big pickup here, and it looks like they are gonna try to collapse onto this Ivern. And I'm not sure if the side of the Carolina Reapers can contest, but there is 4 members here.
Kazante does have TP, so maybe they'll actually opt out for it if Strova steals this. I might scream a little bit. Should not get this. Okay, I puckered up there for a second, but TP will be used for top lane. That will be Syndra to match the Kazante. Should clear this wave and prevent that top tower from falling. Hope might be out of position here.
Hope One with the Ghost is actually able to get away from the Camille. Engaged Steel City Warrior, now the target brought low, but not dead quite yet. Romy trying to put out the DPS. Flash over the wall from the Xin Zhao will keep him alive. Sinner now the next target. It is going to be this Sivir trying to put out the DPS. Hope One is brought so low. Steel City Warrior,
oh my god, no way,
not be able to save his ADC. A huge shutdown on the Romy, and now Bob Timer is here. Double kill, triple kill for Romy. A huge heads up play, and they're gonna punish that dragon take. Romy now back in the game.
Yeah, that whole time Olaf was taking the tier 2 on the other side of the map. Hold that thought, actually trade to kills. The Orianna, or not Orianna, the Sivir ends up going down. This should be just that tower for free, and Olaf should just pop Ghost and run, right?
Maybe. It seems like Jimmy Koi, he is waiting around to see if him and Bobtimer can make a play on the Shippuden. But the Olaf does have Ghost available, as you said, is going to just try to walk it out. Will not get pulled back in by Bobtimer's Q3, and so we'll be able to get that bot lane tower. Looking at the gold, it is about 1,000 advantage to ABK, but thanks to Romy getting those kills, this Sivir is going to be a little bit stronger in the mid game. You got to watch out for him now.
Absolutely. Fully expecting a lot of nonsense coming out from those champions on the other side of the map. So we're 10-10, 17 minutes into the game. The gold lead is still barely under 1,700 right now at this very moment. Baron will be on the map in 2 minutes, and it will be Infernal Soul if Steel City Warrior and ABK decided to prioritize that in the next 3 minutes. I do believe this will be different. There are a lot of go buttons on the side of ABK as there are on the side of Carolina Reapers. So I don't. Both teams can really start a fight on their own terms in this instance. I'm not entirely sure like who would rather make the call first in this instance. I mean, the game is still not like completely slipping out of control, but the gold lead is finally crested over 1,000 for the first time in this game in particular. So ABK are arguably in a better position than Reapers because of those 3 streaks. We estimate about maybe 400 gold-ish per Drake in terms of like raw stats, so the gold lead is a little deceptive. And also we have so many gold advantages if we could actually take over to the gold real quickly. So yeah, Olaf actually surprisingly down in having an advantage. Okay, those 2 kills in the Cassante. Xin Zhao is up, Orianna is up as we expected, and the ADC matchup is close after all those shutdowns from earlier. And Ashe having a ton of gold is actually kind of unexpected to me, but I mean, has a couple of kills and has been very actively participating in a lot of these fights. Not saying that the Camille hasn't, it's just she had an unfortunate laning phase where she couldn't get close, and obviously, that's not the case in these team fights. Camille is able to shine, and that's what we were hoping to see out of this pick. And now here we have the top laners, just throwing axes and missing everything.
Yeah, Shippuden looking for just an easy little trade, and actually, Bobtimer going to W in. Q3 will not land, but Shippuden and Bobtimer don't want anything to do with each other. They are just going to walk it away, farm it out, and, you know, go on their merry way in the side lane. Nothing too aggressive coming out from these top laners. You mentioned that Jimmy Choi on this support Camille, low gold but high in kill participation, doing everything he can. But yeah, big flash from Strova, forced out by the cooldowns, and now Jimmy Choi finds his opportunity to go in onto center. No Ashel to keep him safe. Jimmy Choi will find the kill. Steel City Warrior onto the backline. Romy is going to be able to free fire for now. Finally, Hope One will slay the Camille, and the Olaf is here. Dead. Flash from Hope One onto the Sivir will pick up the triple kill, and Limerence, he's trying to flash away, is going to be not chased down because the Baron is up. Bobtimer is here now in the mid lane, and because it is going to be the dragon in less than a minute, it's going to be ABK marching their way into the bot side of the map. They're going to pick up the mid wave, they are going to reset, and they are going to look to finish off this Dragon Soul.
Yeah, I think at this point you just spend the gold that you got off of that fight from there. Both AD carries flashless now. Sivir did not have flash from the previous exchanges before this one, and Hope One using that to his advantage. So this Sivir will be vulnerable. This Varus will be especially more vulnerable considering he just blew the flash. They will not spot the Camille with the Hawk Shot, which a friend of mine says is a most broken ability in the game because you can see where everyone is and get assists off it. Fun fact if you didn't know that.
Honestly, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Now I'm going to start playing some Ashe and start racking up those assists. It has been very impactful for Sinner to be able to kind of scout out where the enemy team is. You can see Jimmy Koi not going to stop the aggression, actually going in onto Steel City Warrior. That might be a mistake. It is going to be the Oriental going wide. That's a big whiff coming out from Limerence because Jimmy Koi was not able to stay on his target. It might be now with the dragon spawned that ABK is able to march in unproblemed. I don't know what I just said, but Bobtimer's looking for more in onto Steel City Warrior. He is going to get bursted and shut down. Jimmy Koi not able to find his mark, has to flash away. Daisy, the next target from Riverside, it is going to go down. And with the top laner from Carolina Reapers dead, it is just going to be all 5 members of ABK marching in for this Dragon Soul. Infernal Dragon. It's very impactful objective. Steel City Warrior is brought low, but not dead quite yet. Will be able to smite this objective. Strova looking for the angle to get in. Jimmy Koi trying to find more, but will get double stunned up by Riversided. And now Olaf ult popped, forces the play away. It is going to be Infernal Soul for ABK. 22 minutes into the game, they are speed running this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, so that is a 22-minute Infernal Soul. The cold is now just as more or less over 3K. It's just that was nuts. It's just slow, calm, and collected over that Drake fight, just cycling cooldowns. They had the ulti advantage anyways. Sivir did not have hers, and Orianna didn't have theirs either. And the second Cassante was caught. It was just full buttons ago. They thought they were doing the Baron with Carolina Reapers, but they just see that it is free and clear and not taken off the map. We had a lot of gold spent. Varus will be finishing his third item. I believe that will be the Terminus coming up third. And Syndra will be hopefully finishing this tier item soon. The extra mana is nice, but that mana shield will be better, especially into this team. We are seeing the consequences of this Sivir having 4 kills at the moment. She's almost to that point where she's going to start shredding everybody. One more item and definitely will be doing that. In this case at the moment, just providing a lot of annoying damage, and Orianna can just do as much as she can. Cassante getting into the fights when he can. I mean, it's looking better and better for ABK, especially with that soul, so it does make this incredibly hard to fight. Looking forward to seeing how far they can continue pushing this advantage. Maybe they clear this vision and start the Baron here, or maybe they just wait on another mistake, another pick from Carolina Reapers.
Yeah, it seems like ABK is more than happy to just kind of farm it out a little bit, wait for their next item spikes. They are in no rush to close out this game or force a fight around the Baron Pit. They will not do so. I want to point out that you mentioned Riverside does not quite have that tier item completed. He was actually sitting on 2 needlessly large rods in that fight around the 4th dragon. He was able to burst Bob Timer because of it, because he had 93 shards from the Infernal Rift, and Bob Timer, full armor build at that point, did not have the Negatron code for that fight, and so he was just absolutely deleted by Riverside's burst damage, and I think he was just caught off guard. That opened up the fight. That led ABK to be able to get the Infernal Soul without contest. It is going to be now Carolina Reapers. They're kind of on the back foot. They do have a 3-0 Orianna, but forced to build into Seraph's, and Zanya's not going to have a whole lot of burst damage using this build. Really just trying to go for the survivability, stop Shippuden and Steel City Warrior from diving in onto him, buying some time for his team to catch up to the play and hopefully get the return frags. And it is going to be difficult for him now because he just doesn't have the burst damage. If he does get an ult on the Hope 1 and Sinner, they might be able to just tank it and go for the fight. As Varus is very strong, 9, 2, and 4, 450 gold bounty, 3 items completed. That Terminus that you mentioned is locked in, ready to go. And if they do decide to go for Baron, ABK will absolutely melt this objective.
Yeah, they have double 80 carry, but I'm kind of thinking about it is possible for it to be turned pretty hard with the Orianna ulti, which is what I think that ABK is fearing, as we got a little bit of a standoff happening here in the mid lane.
Yeah, Romy, he's actually going to get flashed on by Steel City Warrior. This is the engage button. It is going to be Cinder on the side, getting engaged on by Jimmy Koi, but Jimmy Koi now looking for Hope 1. This Varus is brought low, will get brought down by Limerence. Steel City Warrior not quite able to keep the backline off of his main carry. Bob Timer all out has been used. It is going to be the Olaf going unstoppable onto him, forcing him away from the play. Meanwhile, Riversided will find the kill onto Strova, so it's a 2-for-1 in favor of ABK, but their main carry does go down.
Yeah, so unfortunately, with the Hope going down, that does negate pretty much anything they would want to try to do on the map. They would rather Hope have a Baron up. I mean, there's also not Elder for 2 minutes, which we'll come back to that. But just, wow, just Limerence was just able to get to Hope, press R, and he just insta-died. I mean, just that's a lot of damage. Ivern did have to flash, so did Zinzao, so that could be a contention point for this next fight in a minute 47, whether it is the Baron or the Elder. I'm expecting we're gonna probably flip one of the two of these, so this time I'm feeling this time I'm feeling the burger flip, because we either have Baron or we have Elder Drake on the other side. So we have two massive neutral objectives that are going to be on the map at the same time here in a minute and a half, less than now. And it looks like we're just trying to get some just vision control on the top side of the map. I'm surprised they're not sending, well, no, Olaf doesn't have Ghost, so you would have to send Syndra to a side lane in this instance. So we're getting really, really risky with the, okay, relax.
Yeah, we see that Jimmy Koi is going to get engaged on. Riverside actually has to flash away from Bob Timer. Steel City Warrior onto 2 now. Hope One able to free fire in the back line. 2 kills already. Strova the next target. This Varus is unstoppable. Quadra kill now for Hope One, and Romy can only run away as his team melts in front of his face. This Varus is unstoppable. So much damage being pumped out from Hope One. He was able to just free fire in that fight because Riverside was the target as well as Sinner, and it was a big mistake from Carolina Reapers to leave Hope One alive.
Yeah, Varus is pretty strong, as we can clearly see. Wow, absolutely melted through the front line there of Carolina Reapers. Objective bounties will be active. They get the Baron as well. It's over 6,000 gold in the lead now. If they really wanted to, they could reset for Elder here. They could just take, shove the mid lane out, take river control, and then just go for the Elder, I think. I mean, this Varus, he has flash up again, and all of your carries don't on the side of Reapers, so this could potentially be game ending. Lots of pings coming in. Oh my goodness, what is happening?
Yeah, Limerence and Bombtime were both TPing onto the mid wave, and they are going to get a little bit of poke damage because of it. Hope One and Sinner, that's the 2 players you want to watch for the side of ABK. If they can keep the DPS up, they will be so impactful in these fights. We already saw that around the Baron pit. Now it is all 5 members of ABK marching in. They are going to go towards this Elder Dragon now. It is spawned. It is going to be caught out.
That's huge.
An OP4 will find Romy. Hope One does go down, but will it be enough? I'm not sure it will be. Bob Timer forced to dash away, but shipping an OP4, staying on top of him. A double kill now for River-sided. It's just Limerence and Strova remaining. They did find the Varus. They were able to right their wrongs from the last team fight, but there is 4 of his teammates still alive, and they will be able to find the next major objective.
This actually, I fully on believe this could get spicy unless Shippuden will just zone off. Oh my goodness, he's dead.
Great Ashwell coming out of Center. That will find Ivern. That will find the one chance remaining for Carolina Reapers to stay in this game. 29 minutes in, Elder and Baron have gone the way of ABK. They're going to have about an 8,000 gold lead, and they are looking to march into the base and secure their second win of Open Qualifiers 2. Jesus, that was hard to say.
Then so they actually waited for Hope to come back up so that way he gets the Elder Drake as well. So really, really strong Varus with Elder is going to be incredibly insane. Also bought a Zanya's, fun fact, to keep himself from dying. Also the AP scaling, I believe, on the W, if my knowledge serves me correctly. It's going to be really strong, and Hope is going to be an absolute menace to deal with. Still has Flash, by the way, so they have to go through a Flash and Zonius to kill this man, and if he's left to his vices, this is doomed. I mean, Baron will be timing off here in the next, like, 30 seconds, I believe, if my knowledge serves me correctly. It is very going to be close. They should at least break open the base here, as Hope is just free-firing. They can't walk up right now at this moment. If Steel hit that was immediately the go button. But we're just gonna 4-1 this, sort of 4-1 this. As Riverside, it is staying off to the side. They should just rotate down here, bot lane, open that up. Oh, no, Jimmy.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, Jimmy Koi bot very low, almost in execute range of the Elder Dragon buff. That is the go timer, Bob Timer, trying to go and keep his team alive, trying to kite it out, but Steel City Warrior will pick up that kill. All off the Ashe ultimate onto Jimmy Koi. Super, super impactful from him. You can see Hope One. He's going to use that Zanya's to his advantage. Stay alive as Jimmy Koi tries to make the desperation play. It is going to be the first Nexus Tower going down. Hope One looking for the second with his team. Romy and Strova doing their best to hold on. They are bringing the health bars low. Limerence is here. There is no Orianna ult though. Oh, okay. Sitter will go down. A well-placed Silver Q means that the end cannot come in. So Carolina Reapers live for another day, but it is going to be an open Nexus now, and ABK, it's just looking really grim. If you're a Carolina Reapers fan, they are just marching through the base.
Yeah, they open up 2 inhibitors at the end of that. Now, unfortunately, Ash and Steel City Warrior do end up going down, but you'll kind of take that and you open up the entirety of their base as a result. Shippuden should just leave, I think, and kind of take the L on this one and kind of give over the blue buff. But with these respawn timers, I imagine we'll probably sync up the 2 mid and bot lane and then just rotate top, get that tower going, get some little nice bit of pressure up there. I believe the tier 2 is still up on that area of the map. It, in fact, is. And next up, we're just waiting for the next Baron. I mean, there's ABK doesn't really have to do anything at this moment. They just need to let the waves kind of do the talking for them and then just rotate top like I already had mentioned. Just head up that way. Looks like they are headed up that way. We got pings. Nice. Perfect. That's some good macro. That's what I'm talking about right there. And they will be just pressuring this top side. This top tier 2 should fall in their favor. And now we're just waiting for the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is just seemed like with an 11,000 gold lead, it's just up to ABK to finally close this game out. There is no Baron buff, there is no Elder buff anymore, but only a few towers in between them and the Nexus. It is going to have to be Carolina Reapers finding an amazing engage on the Hope 1, but with the Zhonya's, it's just so difficult. And he still does have Flash, hasn't used it, right? So, you know, it's just so difficult to get on this Varus and lock him down. And even if you do, Riverside, it is so strong, level 17 on the Syndra. Very, very powerful build. And it's just up to them to clear the waves. Carolina Reapers, they have to deal with the mid lane and bot lane waves as well. And so all 5 members of ABK just waiting for the next wave, going for the poke out, and seeing Carolina Reapers make a mistake. And it looks like they have. Goodness. It is double stun. It is bomb timer. Brought super low. Sinner trying to find the damage, but it's just a support Ash able to get away. Sinner meanwhile brought very low actually, almost down. And Romy not quite able to get the Silver Q to secure that kill, but still pressure applied from Carolina Reapers. They force ABK to walk away, and they just have to go to the Baron.
Yeah, it should be a free Baron. Ash will heal up off these fruits here in the river. We got pings from both sides on it, so I know. Well, I mean, actually, I'm gonna take that thought back. Reapers can't really leave their base to go for this. This should be just completely free. Then they once again go sync up the bot and mid waves. The inhibitors should be coming up in the next 2.5 minutes, I believe. But Baron will go over. This will extend the gold lead to about 12,000 now. The biggest gold lead we've seen of the night. Looking forward to see what ABK can do with this Baron this time. Actually, we're TPing back. They're actually not going to slow it down at all. I think they're actually just going to go for the win. Ash Arrow goes out.
Yeah, Strova is forced to flash away from Sinner's Ash ult. That is a big cooldown that Sinner no longer has, but this flashless Ivern is now much, much more difficult for him to find the engage in these fights that he needs to do. Bob Timer looking for the play, but will get stunned up by Riversided. And they are just getting poked out. Jimmy Coy off to the side as well. It's kind of difficult for ABK to actually find their way in. Even though the Nexus is open, they can't just kind of march their way through without some minions. It looks like they're playing it back a little bit. They might not go for this end right now. They're respecting the fact that Romy and Limerence are super strong. They have a lot of damage. There's a lot of switching members on ABK. They don't want to force a play. And it's going to be Jimmy Coy trying to go in. Steel City Warriors forced to pop the ult early, flashing away as well. There's Varus on the side looking for the damage. Will find Romy. That's a big pickup. Syndra will get a kill as well. Strova now the next target. Limerence with a big ult, but is it enough? No. All he can do is get damage. No kills going his way. It is only the Orion remaining. Triple kill for Riverside, and that's it. ABK pick up their second win in a row.
What an exceptional kind of fight there to secure the game. ABK will end up winning, going 2-2. Wait, math is hard, right? Am I right?
Yeah, 2-2. You're right. Yeah. They were starting out 0-2 on the night, and now they're 2-2, making their way through. They just need to win one more best of one to make it into the playoffs of OQ2, and they are trying to march their way through. They have been so aggressive in the early game. They played their comp to perfection. Hope 1 was so hard to deal with. You can see how many cooldowns they were using on him. He bought the Zhonya's, and that was enough. That was all they needed. ABK, they are trying to make a statement performance in this day 2.
Yeah, good for them. They will move on to tomorrow's games, I believe, which will be so we already have our 3-0 teams that have should be playing right now at this moment. But I think they will play in day 3 tomorrow, which will be the 2-2s, 3-1s, And I feel like there's one more. I could be wrong. I believe that is it from there. Maybe 1 and 3 is also as well. But that's for tomorrow to figure out. For now, we went ahead, saw ABK win 2 games in a row. Both games were really well played through team fighting and macro calling as well. And just knowing where their advantages are and playing through them, which is exactly what you want to see out of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that they were a lot more confident in game 2 and well deserved from them. They need, one more night to prep up, try to get that last win to get into the playoffs. And from there, the sky's the limit. They can just make it happen. They have that X factor in Hope 1. They have Riverside as well, who went down 0-3 in the early game, but was able to pull it back in. Great build from him and great play as well. Some very impactful stuns and ultimates coming out from the Syndra. So well played to them. Very excited to see if they can make it all the way through. But that's going to be it for us tonight. I've been Amek, DBZ Freak. Thank you so much for casting with me. And everybody for watching. Have a good night.